Decade of the Stencil continues, and if you like to stencil, stick around because I've got the cutest birthday card, I promise. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft/dining room. Today we're doing more stenciling with cool colors, and I love how this card turns out. So if you want to see a really cute birthday card with a cute little stencil, stick around because that project is coming up next. Here's a look at the products I'll be using to create my card today. It's a really fun stamp set, just very all-purpose, 2 different kinds of happy, 2 different kinds of birthday. Plus, I have this stencil, it's called Balloon Party, and I love stencil, you know me, it's the decade of the stencil, what can I say? I also have a palette that I have been loving lately. We're going with the cool tones here, and I'm going to be doing some ink blending to create a fun panel and then stamping on that panel to create my cards. So let's get into it. Thought I'd try something different today. Normally I blend on my tonic mat, but I am going to be using my Brutus Monroe Stick and Stamp because I have already trimmed down a piece of Neenah Solar White in the classic Crest, and I'm just going to stick that right in the center. And I think we're going to start ink blending like this because I have a plan that is going to involve a bit of masking. So I feel like possibly, I could be wrong, we're gonna start placing some balloons all over. Now, here's the thing though that I don't know, and I'm just gonna kind of press that down because that can hold that in place. I don't know if I'm gonna add strings to my balloon. That's something I need to think about, but I am gonna do some maskings because I want to protect the cardstock. And we're just going to do the 3 colors that I chose. So let me grab a paper towel and we'll make some balloons. I kind of just envision a bunch of overlapping balloons, not strings, because I hate drawings. I'm not a drawer, and I think if I try to do strings, I'm gonna be asking for trouble. Start with, oh, that looks so good already. Come in here. And I will need a little more tape. You know, I also show you too, you can use Post-it notes too. You don't always need to have fancy tapes. I have so much masking all over the place that it's a beautiful thing. All right, let's just move this aside. Bring in our Seafoam. Tap and blend. I'm not too worried about that bottom balloon. I think I'll be okay. A little darker here, and then fade it out. Like that. Nice. And bring in this gorgeous lilac, which I'm loving. And we'll do the same over here. Grab my purple brush and just load that up there. Come on in and blend. Darker on the outside, and just go lighter towards the top. It's about the extent of my understanding of light and shadow, but I think that will be just lovely. Now what I'm not completely sure of is what is next. So I've got 3 balloons in place, and I'm going to do some more. Let's see here. All right, how about if we do I want to go here now and maybe just put a couple up here? Ooh, that could be cute. We're really playing with it here because I don't know how this is going to look, but we'll try. We're going to do a little overlapping. Blue and lighter. I do know green and blue are going to look just fine together, so that will be nice. Like that. Really, with a stencil like this, it's kind of whatever what are you feeling? You know, you can do whatever you think is going to look okay, and even if it's not perfect, as long as you're sticking with some colors that you know work together, you're probably going to be fine. Okay, just be mindful of masking as needed. And let's see how this goes. A little green right there. Kind of create that transparency. All right, just like that. Transparent balloons. Let's do one up here too. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to do that in blue. How I'm going to crop this, but I will be cropping it in some way, shape, or form. All right, come on up here Got a little dark on that one, but that's okay. Let's darken it right there. Okay. Oh, that already looks really good, doesn't it? We're gonna just keep going. How about if we come down a little like here? Like that. I do want to keep them straight. I think straight is a nice way to go on here. And I'm going to just work in the next order over, which is going to be blue first. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to do anything else, but I love the way, I can't pick it up. I love the way this mat holds in place. So now I just bend away my paper and I'm going to let this dry completely because these inks have a bit of viscosity to them and I would rather let them dry before I stamp and add my embossing powder because I'm going to do, well, should I do that though? Actually, maybe I'm going to stamp the happy and then we'll let it dry for the embossing of the birthday. Here's my thinking. I want happy to be very prominent in the center and I'm actually going to stamp it in lilac. Now, I don't often do this whole, like usually I would go with a black or maybe I would emboss something, but I want to do happy in a very nice solid lilac here. And you can kind of see how it's less lavender with balloons in the center, or the lilac. That wasn't really on that's a happy accident. let's be real. I don't always know what's going to happen here. So we are going to just prime this a little. Just going to kind of get that coating off a bit. And I'm going to ink up with the lilac. Get a nice coating here. Bring this down and press with my press tool. And let that ink transfer. And I will stamp it again to get a really nice dark impression. I think this is going to be cool because I'm going to emboss birthday over happy, but I'm going to let it all dry. So I'm going to walk away from this. Of course, you won't notice in the video, but I'm going to let it sit for at least 30 minutes. I'll go on to work on something else. Let's give it one more. I really want it to pop. Okay, that, and just press that down. This is what I love about the Misti tool, right? You're stamping it again and again in the same place. Would not be possible freehand unless you are the most coordinated person in the land. So that is the core of the design for now. I'm going to set myself a little timer for 30 minutes, come back, and then we're going to emboss birthday over the top. I've let this dry, but I also wanted to show you a great tip that I have. I keep one blender brush, and oftentimes what I will do is spray some of the Ultra Clean spray, it's hard to say, on my brush and use the brush to clean the stamp. It's a really great way to get a really good cleaning once you're done. And you can put it back on the plastic. We have a beautifully clean stamp. Like that. Okay, now for the next part of this card, I definitely want to do, I don't know where though. Do I want it to be a little lower? I think I might. But I love the script. I love taking designs that have a contrast. And here we have this tall sans serif typeface mixed in with this light, beautiful, scripty lowercase. And I think do I want it to be right in the middle? I mean, you're going to be able to read it, right? That's not going to be an issue. So maybe I will go a little more in the center. We're going to pick this up Okay, and I just want to make sure that looks straight, a little bit hanging out here, a little bit hanging out here. Now, here's where we will bring in our anti-static powder tool. I think this is dry enough, and if not, well, we'll find out, but I'm going to powder this up really well just to make sure that the powder slides off and I get a nice impression, especially right in that center area, because sometimes these inks, you know, when they're not completely dry, they will grab powder. And speaking of powder, I am going to use some ultrafine powder in silver from SSS Stamp. So let's ink up our stamp. I might stamp this twice too, just to get a nice impression. Bring that down. I'm not pressing too hard because it's kind of a delicate stamp, but I want to give time, and you'll be able to see how that transferred there. Let's do one more. I think this will be pretty. And just press that with my fingers to transfer. Now we will bring this over, and I'll sprinkle on the fine detail silver powder, and hopefully everything else will fall away, because I do want it to be clean. I think it will, but if not, we'll brush a little away like that. Oh yeah. Waiting for it to dry a little, you know, you can go do other things. I had breakfast while it was waiting. So don't rush with inks and stenciling when you're going to emboss over the top. And now you'll see I have a little shiny birthday. So it's kind of subtle, but I actually think that's really cute. All right, I'm going to grab a die. You may need to stencil in another object or balloon, whatever you've decided to create with your background. Here, of course, we're talking balloons. And that really depends, because here I've got I want to make sure that happy and birthday are centered. I actually like that, and I actually like this little corner of a balloon up in the top. I think that's very cute. So I think I stenciled exactly what I wanted, and I don't think that I'm going to do anything else on here. I'm going to tape this down. This is just some Easy C tape. Right, hold that in place. Well, let it go. This is a little warped, and we're gonna hopefully fix that. I like to angle it a little bit just so that my rollers don't take the full brunt of the die. Yep, still looking good. Run it through. And this also helps to flatten it a little, but you know, if it's warped, what I like to do, and this is a little warped, you can see that from the heat embossing, I'm just going to pop that into a book and go get one more errand done, and then we'll come back and finish the card. All right, I'm going to unload this from my book, and I just keep the same book. There it is. Are You My Mother? It's just a book that I've had, and now I have my beautiful panel, and I am going to make a lavender card base for this. So this is SSS Stamp Lavender cardstock. We'll go ahead and score this at 5.5 inches. Again, you always fold away from what you just scored. And I'll use my Teflon bone folder to give it a good press. Like that. And pop this down onto the card base. Love that framing margin space. And pop. Oh, I love that look. It's just so simple. And of course, the surprise is the fun little shine of happy birthday. I guess I could add a few sequins. Let me grab, let's see, I have some silver sequins here. Oh, it's like it was meant to be. Look at that. It's like it was meant to be. Just a few. Actually, should it be 3? 3 up top, 3 in the bottom. I mean, we could, but I actually think, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. 1 there, and then get a larger one here. Sometimes it's just a gut feel about what I think is the right amount. maybe a little crisscross there where it overlaps. Try to keep the spacing about the same if I can. And let's go ahead and add the sequins. Boop. Boop. Swallowed that boop. Boop. Mm-hmm. Boop. Boop. And a little closer. Boop. Just like that. And that is my finished card project. So I love that birthday in the center there. I mean, it's sort of subtle, right? But what a fun birthday card. I love where you can create your own pattern backgrounds. I like this little surprise outlier up there. It's like, where's that balloon going? But I think it works. And hopefully this inspires you to take a look at some of the shape stencils you have. Maybe you have a balloon stencil in your stash and you could do something like this, and consider stamping and laying a smaller subgreeting over the large sentiment. Thanks so much for watching today. You can find links to all the supplies I used below in the YouTube description box. Here I've got a few more videos featuring balloons that you might be interested in checking out, so I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you back here with more card projects soon.